even actually know how to start this video. It's gonna be kind of long, but I'll have timestamps, so if you want to skip certain parts or you're looking for certain information or anything like that, either skip to the section you want or leave me a question down below if there's something you want covered, and I will do my absolute best to make sure to answer it. But I have a lot of things I want to document and just make more linear for both myself and anyone else who is just curious how this process worked. It felt very unique and individualized as far as being a 2020 JET participant. JET is the company I went with to move to Japan, and it was heavily delayed. I am hoping that this is a unique circumstance only to our cohort, because I never want this to happen to anyone ever again. But I still want documented proof that it happened to me, and to look back at it later and really see like some of the things I went through, and hopefully if anyone else has to go through anything like this, at least there might be some sort of consistency there, or preparation. So this is gonna be a little clunky, a little weird, but after that, it's Japan videos. I've already filmed a few, but I have to get this one out first. I have to tell you guys that I moved to Japan. Not going to move to Japan, not I got delayed again, but I'm actually physically right now in my hotel in Tokyo, in Japan. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. I am your supplementary narrator as far as this goes, because I have a lot of material that I have collected over the years. It's the first clip is from like spring of 2019, so yeah, there's quite a bit going on here. I've been trying to get to Japan for a while now, but here's my first clip of me getting ready for my interview. I didn't know I was on the JET program yet, so I'll show a little bit of that. Okay, it's done, it's over with. I don't have to think about it or worry about it until April. I did the best I could. I think it went really well. I answered lots of questions. I don't know. I'm in the blackout stage where I'm like, what just happened? Don't know, don't care. I can honestly say I had a discussion with Sarah from Novel Serendipity. She and I were talking last night about some ways to like prepare and some of the questions they might have. And one of the questions that she threw at me was one of the questions that I was given in Japanese, and I was able to understand it and answer it properly only due to Sarah from Novel Serendipity. So shout out to Sarah for not wanting me to die, and thank you so much. Then that was quickly followed by me actually getting my results on April 1st. Correct, April Fool's Day, I got my results that I was going to be actually going to Japan, and the date was set for right after the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, so we were expected to be leaving in September of 2020. First off, my announcement is really exciting, kind of nerve-wracking to talk about because this has been in the works for a while, but enough has been set into place and we are well on our way in our planning that I feel really comfortable and confident saying that I am moving. I am moving internationally, and I am moving to Japan. I want to be a bridge and a connection for you to experience Japan to at least some extent and maybe feel as I feel. Maybe you didn't know that this was a possibility and I can open it up. I know that a lot of YouTubers that are based in Japan were what pushed me to believe that I could do this, and as it gets closer and closer, I cannot help but appreciate all of their shared experiences. It'll be end of August through mid-September, within that time range. I don't have a set date or plane ticket yet. As it gets closer, those types of things will get planned. As it started to become more real, I began to prepare more, and I was feeling really motivated, like highly motivated. I was studying Japanese, eating really healthy, working out, and then in the summer we got our first delay. The summer is a wash. I understand the summer vibe now is plan for nothing, look forward to nothing, you will receive nothing. I would like to know how you guys are doing with everything. I know a lot of different countries are opening up. I'm in the United States, in Portland, Oregon, and things are not open, as well as not being very safe for people. You might have seen some different things on the news having to do with Portland. It's all kind of unnerving and not great. We were leaving in the fall. Now we were leaving in the winter of 2020, which at the time felt really far away. That big of a time jump from thinking when I was going to Japan to that kind of delay. It was pretty concerning concerning, especially since I had just quit my one job and then had obviously been put on leave for my other one because everything had shut down. We had moved out of our apartment and had moved in to save at my grandma's house in her basement, which was supposed to be incredibly temporary for the transition. Yeah, at that point, we had money saved, but I was feeling a bit lost. As winter approached though, we got back on track. We were told that the first group had gotten their departure dates and tickets were being doled out. We had gotten departure dates, and overall we were just being told we were not far behind. My summer goal list, which I'm not even gonna link above, was a disaster. I was in a really weird headspace. I had just had my Japan plans delayed without any new start dates. I had just gotten laid off from my job. COVID was COVID, and just nothing seemed to be going okay, so I kind of like needed to simmer down. But as my first announcement, I would like to say that again, I am back on track and I am headed to Japan. If for some reason something goes wrong, I'm not gonna make an announcement again. Boom, I'll just be in Japan. I got my placement, I got pictures of my apartment, I was in contact with my supervisor, and things started to really start to look up. It allowed me to take my pent-up energy from being so disappointed, and I started getting ready again. Then, weeks out from departing, after saying goodbye to family, friends, loved ones, arranging everything for our cats to be accompanying us later, we were delayed again. Only this time there wasn't a new departure date. There was nothing. There was pretty much radio silence on the jet front, and it wasn't from negligence or from a lack of care as far as my consulate was concerned. He was super responsive and super on it and sent really supportive messages. The problem is that nobody knew what was going to happen next. Nobody knew what was going on, and the logistics of sending 2,000 plus people started to get really sticky with the Japanese borders closing. So there was complete silence. Nobody was telling us like a new date or when to look forward to it. And then they started sending out emails letting people know, if you want to quit, there won't be any fees or anything like that. You can just free of charge go. I know for some people, like, it was helpful and they were able to make different choices, and I know a lot of people dropped out at this point. For us, it wasn't really an option. We knew we would be going to Japan anyway, so we might as well just continue to wait, but it was really, really hard to get those emails telling people, like, you can quit, because we don't know when we're coming back. And they were also reassuring, saying that you could reapply when Japan opened its borders again. Japan, as of filming this video, has still not opened its borders. Needless to say, I was actually pretty devastated. I was also embarrassed. I don't know exactly why I was embarrassed, because this was happening to everyone. This part of the situation was not unique to me in the way that, like, no one else was going through this. I had Sarah from Novel Serendipity. She is also on the JET program. I had those sorts of supports, but for some reason, like, I was just so embarrassed that we weren't going. I think it was because I had said goodbye to everyone. I'd had all those clean slates of being like, hey, see you when you visit, all of those types of things. I had told all of my jobs and my work and stuff like that, who had kept in contact with me knowing I was going soon. I had denied reapplying for my position after things opened up again from the pandemic. My job offered me another contract, which I couldn't take because I knew I'd be leaving soon. It was really hard. Every conversation seemed to be either, oh, you're still here, or when are you going to Japan? Oh, you're back already? It was just, I was crushed, but I didn't want to quit at all. I still knew that I wanted to go, and it didn't make sense for either of us at that point to quit. We just needed to figure out how to sustain ourselves until the next departure date was announced. There was still talk going on about the Olympics happening in the summer, and so that was promising to us, and we were just clinging on to small hopes, as well as trying to sustain ourselves in the time being. For 3 months, we pretty much spun our wheels and waited. Then Oregon had some really bad fires that saw us wearing gas masks to get groceries along with the COVID masks and sanitizer. It was really stressful and really hard. Cases of the virus continued to rise. And then the final cincher on just my mental health was when my basement, or my grandma's basement, where we were living, flooded completely. We had to leave immediately. We had our cats with us. There was a lot of electrical equipment on the ground, and all of my favorite books were the only books out, and we had to leave, and there was absolutely no chance of it being fixed anytime soon. So for a while, we did not have a place to stay. Okay. I have not seen you guys in a while. I'm sorry about that. I will say, I took the time I needed to take. I guess I'm sorry that I was in the space I was in, but I'm not sorry that I didn't film, because I don't think I was really capable of it in the time I took. So I really appreciated all of your guys' patience and pretty much just your understanding in all of this. And I just, every time I went to check on my channel to be how many subscribers did I lose now, and just trying to get down on myself, I was just overwhelmed by the continual support I was getting and the check-ins that I was receiving from people. And yeah, I've just really appreciated so many people who have either reached out or just not unsubscribed. I know that sounds like a low standard, but I've had pretty low standards in my hiatus, so I just really appreciate all the time that I've been given and the patience and understanding I've received. The displacement became more real when I realized I wasn't going to have a place to permanently stay after the second flood, because as kind and gracious and understanding as my grandparents are, the house is not equipped to have that many people in it in that small of a space with that many animals who don't get along for such a long time. Luckily, my friend Soleil, who you may know if you're familiar with my channel, you might recognize her, she and her family took us in for a small amount of time while we adjusted and found new housing. So we stayed with Soleil, and then we stayed with my mom when she had sent up temporary housing before she was able to move back to Alaska. So for the rest of my time waiting, we still had no departure date. Nobody was communicating at all as far as when we'd be going, but we had a place to live and survive. So that was nice, and I'm incredibly grateful. This unfortunately leads me to a topic that I have overall just avoided, not just on my channel, but in general. Because it's really hard. After setting up at my mom's house, both of our cats passed away, one pretty much right after the other. I think there was only a couple weeks in between. It was one of the most devastating things that had happened to me, and considering how this past year or so has gone, I think that's really saying something. I had been with my cat Ima since I was 13 years old, and we had had Belle since we'd gotten together, so about 13 years. It was just really hard. Ima was really old. Belle had continual health conditions. As far as getting them to Japan, we were still not certain when that would be due to the borders being closed and them not letting animals in. It's already a rigorous process, which we did go through, but it ended up not being necessary. I still don't know how I feel about it, and I don't really talk about it too much, but it's not me not acknowledging them. It was about as bad as it gets. I'm going to be lugging around a lot of books today, but considering I've been just lugging myself around for a year around the house, I'm feeling pretty energized and ready to do so. Some of the books in here are summary books, or books I felt like would be perfect for the summer, so I was going to have them sent to me in the summer. I'm supposed to be in Japan right now. That's not happening. We're not going to dwell. We're just going to pick out some pretty books so that I can take pictures of them for Instagram today. Then, not soon after, we were sent out a notice that once the Olympics were finished, the JET program would be kind of be restarting. We would have 2020 jets and 2021 jets going at the same time, and that we would be getting our departing dates. We wouldn't know anything until the Olympics. Some things seem to kind of ride on whether the Olympics both happened and how the Olympics went. So if it was a super spreader, they were not able to guarantee that we'd be going. And yeah, for a while I was really invested in the Olympics, but not for the sports aspect. And it was everywhere. And anytime I heard about like a case breaking out in the Olympics, it just about like rocked my entire world. I was like, no, just stay in your little cardboard box sex beds and like leave each other alone. It was really stressful. Yeah, the Olympics happened and they decided to go ahead with the jet program, which is great. Love that for me. And at that point, we knew we were going. They said they were going to start sending out departure dates. Other consulates started getting departure dates. I believe LA, San Francisco, and New York were in the beginning groups. There was even like a test group that went to test out the quarantine process and make sure everything went off correctly. I can say for certain we didn't actually believe we were going at this point. Everyone was telling us we were going, including the consulates, and I, up until like yesterday, did not believe we were going. This is going to be nerve-wracking because I have actually started this process before and I had to stop because the moving process stopped, and that was really hard. But I'm going to be putting all of my effort, all of the manifestation power I have in my head, and I'm going to just keep telling myself I'm moving to Japan until I get on that plane and get there. But these are Japan focused and me getting there focused, and I need all the focus I can get because there's a lot of paperwork. So the first thing I'm going to say is that I received my departure date this morning and I could not be happier. Honestly, it's the perfect departure date for me. And you might be thinking, who cares? It's just a number. No, it's the perfect departure date for me. But then they actually gave us our departure date, and while it didn't feel real, I definitely acted like it was real because there was nothing else to do. Woo! Going to Japan. I'm not excited yet because I'm nervous and I have trust issues because we have done this video before. We were told at the end of August that we'd be leaving at the end of October, October 31st, 2021. Happy Halloween, we were going to Japan. And that is 2 months to move internationally. And there are a lot more things that I didn't realize or didn't think of when moving, just not moving, but moving internationally. It also coincided with when my family was moving, and that's where my clips start to get a little sketchy. Hello and welcome. I'm Jade of Jaded Reader, and today we're going to be doing a bit of a brief inventory of the books I have because I am packing them up. Repacking them, I guess, is a better word for it. Stay, I love you, please stay. I have unpacked my books specifically for this video and then I will be repacking them. Don't worry, if you'd like to know everything that I'm taking to Japan and not just book related content, or you're wondering how I took so many books to Japan instead of all the other necessities you might find important, I will have a video coming out where I go over everything I packed for moving to Japan. But today I'm going to be going just over books, and I do want to do a disclaimer that books are not necessary for you to take to Japan. I happen to have a channel that is primarily directed towards books currently, and then I will also be adding writing and Japan related content, but books are really important to me. And when doing research on what to bring to Japan, I found that the majority of people who had anecdotal thoughts on what to bring ended up saying they found less things that they needed to bring and more things that they were missing. I brought more books than shoes, clothing, and a lot of like other products that other people might bring. I am actually kind of surprised that there's even videos up where I'm talking about any of this because I was just in a frantic state of like just do. I had a family thing going on that was also taking up a lot of my time and emotions. It was just, I just needed to just full blown ahead focus, and I don't even know what all I did. I strongly, firmly believe, more than any other religious principle at this point, in Murphy's Law. And there's a lot more paperwork here, but it is mostly visa information, and I don't know enough about it yet to make a video on it. I don't want to be incredibly irresponsible here and just instead give you my experience. So right now, I would say my experience is inexperienced. Hopefully that changes because there's a lot of things to go through. The other thing I know for certain is that we will be quarantining in Tokyo for 2 weeks before we can actually get to our placement location. So within these vlogs, at some point, I will also be quarantining in a hotel for 2 weeks, which I don't think is going to be fun, but we're going to try and make it fun. We're not there yet though. So for right now, I just know that my partner and I are going to be stuck in a hotel room together for 2 weeks without being able to leave. They provide 3 meals a day. They also provide 3 meals a day for my partner. I just know my partner and I are going to be locked up in a hotel room together for 2 weeks, which, I mean, we've been pretty prepped for that, so I'm not really worried. Alongside that, they give us 3 meals a day, so that's for both of us. My meals are completely paid for, and my hotel room is completely paid for. My partner's is not. We have to pay for his flight costs as well as the hotel stay and the meals that are accompanying it. Those are not optional, and as of right now, they can't guarantee when my partner would be able to join me if we decide to defer that. So a lot of the money we saved up is going towards that, because I will give you numbers when I have them for certain. Right now, I feel like if I gave a number, it would just be blown out the window. So as of right now, it's looking like a pretty substantial number with the estimates, and when I have an exact cost amount, I will give you that. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. If I'm asked a question, I should be able to answer it, but I might not be able to cover it all here because there's just a lot. Paperwork alone would have to be an individual question because I just signed things. Signing my life away and my partner's life away just continuously. Information changed a lot during this time. Sometimes a document, a piece of that paperwork I was signing my life away on, would either have outdated information or completely contradict what other information was being given, like verbally through different meetings and through our consulate and emails. There was a bit of a disconnect, and a lot of things kept on having to be reissued or confirmed or clarified. Quick moving to Japan update. We have a whole area over here, which is like our packing area. Right now, it's very messy, but it's like ideally what we'd like to bring is over there. We had to repack. Got a notice from the travel agency saying that we can have 2 large suitcases to check and then 1 singular carry-on hand luggage. So that doesn't really leave room for a personal item, like a backpack, or you can take a backpack, but you wouldn't be able to take a carry-on. That's currently what's happening. I don't know if that'll be the final result, but that was what was in the travel agency email. So yeah, they gave that to us, and the travel agency is who you would contact for all of your inquiries and things like that. So my consulate is in charge of like making sure all my paperwork is in and stuff like that, but as far as travel stuff goes, we've been told to talk specifically to the agency. So I got in contact with them to find out if that is for surely the case, because I don't want to not bring a backpack onto an 11-hour flight and then find out I could have. So yeah, double checking on that. We got our amounts back for the quarantine cost for my partner. I am coming with a dependent, and again, I don't know if this situation will fit yours, but my situation, we were told to have $2,500 dollars for his quarantine stay. That is an approximation. They're going to get us for sure numbers, but that is the approximation for the total stay through the travel agency. And then it's looking like his flight is around 1,000, like 1,500, 1,200 or 1,500. Again, they're approximations, which is why I'm giving you ranges. It's stressful. That's a lot of money. We were gonna have to pay for his flight no matter what. This isn't a COVID specific thing. This is like, no matter what, if you take a dependent through the JET program, you do have to pay for them. It's just usually the flight that you're paying for in like the Shinkansen bullet train ride. And instead we're also having to pay for the quarantine, which is obviously the largest portion. That's been a little bit stressful, but we have a huge, sorry, the lighting is terrible in here. It's a garage. We have a huge thing of things that are going into a garage sale. I am hoping that I can get some money from the garage sale. Just trying to wrap my head around a lot of things right now. First off, that I might not be able to have a backpack or a carry-on on the plane, and there's just like a lot. If you end up going to Japan and you end up going through the JET program, I cannot recommend enough, once you get your placement, once you know your prefecture, trying to get online, not online, but on the app line, and meeting and talking to people within your prefecture. It's been super helpful because they have prefecture specific information that we can pass back and forth. It's just been really nice to get to know them because they're going to the same climate or same area, or possibly in some cases the same town. And yeah, we just played a whole bunch of games and got to know each other, and it's just been super helpful and a really great support through all of this stressful time. I can't really recommend the US chat, but there has been some really good information on there. It's very overwhelming if you're not a social person. However, your prefecture specific chat, I do recommend. All of this used to be full. Those are my shipped boxes. I have a video that I'll link up above if you want to know, but these are boxes of books I'm shipping to myself seasonally. There was an entire conversation on the JET alum chat telling me not to send my books. I understand, I hear you. I'm not doing that. Those are the most sentimental things to me. I'm really tired. I've been doing a lot of socializing and a lot of packing. So I'm going to call it a night for now, but I want to try and get some of this information down because it changes a lot, and I kind of want that documented a little bit too. I wasn't able to fully document before because I was in a weird headspace, but I'm able to document now, and currently that is the situation with the luggage, and I really hope it changes because we're moving to a foreign country. I would really like a backpack. Morning. Right now we are getting ready for a garage sale. My mom and brother are also moving at the exact same time as us. We just made it like a house-wide sale, so there's a lot of empty furniture, but it's all for sale. Lots of stuff outside as well, but yeah, pretty much just stacking things. I have all of my books that I am not keeping, and we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, garage sale and then donation. At least with the garage sale, we have the chance of gaining a little bit of value, whereas donation, you're donating it. So quick update on the garage sale. It's pouring down rain, and we're gonna take some stuff inside. Yeah, this is gonna be one of those days. We had a super specific COVID test, the RT-PCR test, and it's like the brain scraper one where they stick it all the way back, go for 10 seconds, and then yank it out, and you just hope your brains don't come along with it. That was nice and uncomfortable. The form that goes with that has to be filled out in a really specific way. There's a Japanese form that has to be signed by a doctor, and it has to be done 72 hours before your flight. So in that, if the form was filled out wrong, it wasn't valid, you weren't going. If the doctor didn't sign it, if it was some sort of nurse or the person who distributed it, anyone who's not a doctor signed that piece of paper, or it wasn't stamped correctly with where the doctor was from, not valid, not going to Japan. And then like there were things like if the AM or PM wasn't circled on your form, not valid, not going to Japan. There was a lot of you might not go to Japan. As it turns out, we did not have COVID, so we said our goodbyes to family. We had a final dinner together, and at that point we were not seeing people because we needed to make sure that we did not contract the virus for several different reasons, but more specifically, like we just completely insulated ourselves. So we were not seeing people at that point because we just were not taking the chance. And then we went to the airport and clogged up the Delta lines to distribute our overweight baggage and kit on a flight first from Portland to Seattle, then Seattle to Tokyo. Okay, first update in a while. We are in Seattle. We're on a 5-hour layover at the Seattle airport, and then it's on to the Hanada airport. I will definitely do a better update, the things that have happened since then, but brief synopsis is we sold our car, got rid of all of our stuff, and filled out a lot of paperwork, and then fit the remaining amount of our stuff in 3 large suitcases that got checked, and then 2 backpacks and a carry-on suitcase. suitcase. So I'm really tired. We woke up at 2:30 a.m., just pretty much took a small nap and then went ahead and tried to stay up so that we can kind of be on track once we get into Japan, but we know that's going to be a while, so we're playing it by ear. We have a 12 hour flight coming up, so for now we're just going to have some coffee and try and stay up. I actually went overweight on the checked luggage in order to make sure that we got everything we needed in because of the carry-on situation, and to fit everything we made sure that we just had overweight checked bags, and that is totally fine as of right now for us. We didn't have any hiccups with having overweight bags. If you can afford it, if you can sacrifice the money for it, 51 pounds to 72 pounds, again this might change per person and per airlines, so double check this information, but just to give you an idea, that's $100 over. And then if it's 73 pounds to 100 pounds, which we were not in that bracket for, thank goodness, we were 60 or 65 pounds on all of our bags, but that second amount was $200 extra. I don't think you can emotionally prepare for that amount of money, but we tried. After a very long flight from Seattle to Tokyo, where we were not only just lucky enough to get the entire aisle to ourselves, but also we were given breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then another breakfast as we were leaving. We landed in Tokyo and then spent 4 hours in said airport in incredibly long lines, showing all the papers we'd filled out. We had test results checked several times and took another COVID test. This one was a saliva based, so I had to spit into a vial, which was super cute. Then it was the residence cards, customs, and an hour-long shuttle ride to Narita, where our hotel was, right next to the Narita airport. I don't know why we didn't fly into Narita, but we didn't. We flew into Hanada and then took the shuttle. The shuttle though, let me talk to you about the shuttle. To make the guidelines for luggage as super clear as I can, because it was not super clear, it's all about the shuttle and the wheels when you are getting your luggage ready based off of these circumstances. Again, every situation is different. I'm sorry I keep saying that, but I don't want angry emails. Delta allows 1 carry-on, 1 personal item, and 2 checked bags, in which we made them overweight. However, the travel agency that Jet is working with allowed these things all the way up until the shuttle once you're in Tokyo. So once you're in Tokyo, you take a shuttle. The shuttle takes you to your hotel. The problem is the shuttle does not allow more than 2 suitcases with wheels below deck, and you can't have any suitcases with wheels above deck. So the rules end up being about wheels. I had 2 checked bags with my carry-on inside of one of my checked luggages, and then my backpack and a small kind of briefcase duffel bag with no wheels. I wasn't stopped. Nobody said anything. You know, I was like, Daijoubu desu ka? Can I bring this on, or do I need to shove it into my checked bag? They said Daijoubu. It was fine. We're good. We're solid. Get on the shuttle. My partner went the other route, where he had a carry-on piece of luggage with wheels and a large suitcase with wheels, and then his backpack. He had 2 pieces of luggage with wheels and a backpack. It just needs to not be an oversized backpack or bag, because you need to be able to fit it in the chair in front of you. Our shuttle was actually super empty, so that wasn't necessary, but I can see a super full shuttle. There would be no room for your larger leg duffel. So don't bring like this sort of duffel and then a backpack. It would be like a small thing you can sit on your lap, and then something that can go under the seat. When you get to the hotel, you are not done. You are tired. You kind of want to just collapse, but you're not done. So once you get there, they take you upstairs to a conference room. You still have your suitcases with you. You have not gone to your hotel room yet, so you're lugging your, in my case, overweight suitcases, backpack, and duffel up the elevator to the conference room, where they just have you set your luggage aside, and then they do a quick seminar that I think only lasted about 15 to 30 minutes, but at that point I was pretty zombied out, and we were just given a brief seminar on the rules and expectations for our 2-week stay.
When you leave your room, always wear your mask and name tag. And please note that any violation of the pledge you signed may result in revocation of resident status and deportation proceedings under the Immigration Control and the refugee recognition act.
Including the fact that we have temperature checks every morning, that we have a phone that will randomly contact us, and it's like a robot. You don't talk to an actual person, but it'll either tell you to say what your location is, in which you just click I'm here, or they call you and it's just the phone up to your face for 30 seconds. It's really fun and awkward. Or after each temperature check each day, you go on there and you report your health, and you just say like you're fine, unless you're not fine, in which case tell them so that they can do something about it. Oh, I'm actually getting one of those right now. Please report your current location by using the I'm here. So there it is, and I go ahead and click I'm here. Okay, and then they're done. So there's those random ones. You have to answer them, so make sure you are prepared to answer them. Perfectly timed. Once you're done with the seminar, they have you drag your suitcases back. You have your room key, you have your phone, and you have a PCR test that you will be self-administering later, so you don't have to do it then, but you have one for in your room, and you do that later by yourself in your room. They also tell you in the seminar that they're not feeding you tonight. You are tired. Yes, you are hungry. No, you have no idea what time it is, but you know you have to eat. So we went ahead and went into the Konbini, the convenience store that's downstairs located in our hotel. There are 2 other hotels I know of that they've been sending JET participants, and one I don't believe has a convenience store. The other one does. I can only go off of my experience. I've just been told that the other 2 hotels are quite different than the My Stays hotel where I'm at, so just keep that in mind. So we ate convenience stuff, and then we walked into our hotel room, in which I promptly collapsed and fell asleep with all my clothes on, only to wake up at 3 a.m. with jet lag. Jet lag, though, from finally arriving in Japan, because I had finally made it. I have made it to Japan, and I also don't have much more to say because I'm in quarantine. If you want to know more about my quarantine stay, you are in luck, because that's all the content I have coming out for you. I have a what are they feeding us video, I have a hotel look and just like how big is our room, what do we have access to and not have access to, and then yeah, I pretty much, I'm stuck in here for 2 weeks. I might also be doing like a routine for like my quarantine routine. It rolls off the tongue, it looks like it'll have a nice thumbnail, I don't know. But if there's anything else you can think of, let me know. As far as book content, because I do book videos, I have a wrap up coming up for the books I read. My writing material right now is kind of just thrown into my quarantine routine, so I'm not sure quite how I'll be doing that yet, but stay tuned. If you got to the end of this, congratulations. I'm curious to know if you are just curious, or if you are thinking of moving to Japan, or if you're on the JET program, if you are coming soon, or you're just thinking of applying, if you're going with a different company. I would love to know what made you watch this video, but regardless if you tell me or not, I hope you're enjoying the sun or more stars wherever you are. Until next time, bye!